As you know, Wuthering Waves has just released. If you want to be able to get the limited characters, you'll want to know how the banners work and how to use them to your advantage. For some players, this may be their first gacha game, and for others, you may just not want to read the fine print. Regardless, in this video I will share with you the way the pity system works, the different types of banners, what banners are worth pulling on, and more. So let's get into it. First, let's start with the basics. Astrite is the main currency, which can be earned in-game through many ways, while Lunite is the paid currency, which costs real money and converts directly into Astrite. It takes 160 Astrite to do a single pull, and 1600 for a 10 pull. These pulls are called tides. There are 3 different types of tides: Radiant Tides, Forging Tides, and Lustrous Tides. Radiant Tides are used for the event characters, Forging Tides are for the event weapons, and Lustrous Tides are used for the other banners. And now, with the basic currencies out of the way, let's get into the different types of banners and what their rates are. Let's talk about the banner rates first. All banners have a low chance of pulling 5-star and 4-star characters or weapons, with a 0.8 and 6% rates respectively. The rates may seem low, but they are higher than some other games. The base chances are in combination with the pity mechanic at 80 pulls. You are guaranteed to get your 5-star character or weapon once you have pulled 80 times on a specific banner. Now, there may be a soft pity, meaning before you reach 80 pulls, your chances of getting a 5-star increase. This soft pity is speculated to begin around 64 to 66 pulls, meaning the chance of you doing 80 pulls is slim. So with that in mind, we'll move on to the individual banners. Starting with the beginner banner, featuring all the standard 5-star characters, this banner takes the Lustrous Tides and will guarantee you get one of the listed 5-star characters by the end of your 50 pulls, unlike some other game. After which, the banner will disappear. The beginner banner will be 20% off, but you will only be able to do the 10 pulls. The guaranteed 5-star makes it worth the investment, unless you plan to re-roll accounts. Later in the video, I will go over why this banner may not be recommended. Once the beginner banner has been finished, the beginner's choice banner will appear, which lets you select any standard 5-star character and pull for them. This banner takes the same Lustrous Tides, but it does not have a guaranteed 5-star after 50 pulls. Instead, it will be at the standard 80 pulls. I have made a mini showcase of all the standard 5-star characters on my shorts, which you can check out. Next is the permanent character banner, which is very similar to the beginner banner, which uses the same Lustrous Tides. This banner will be at the standard 80 pulls. The banner will only feature the standard 5-star characters, but you can obtain 4-star weapons and characters from this banner. Moving on to the permanent weapon banner, which is almost the exact same as the permanent character banner, despite one major difference. On the permanent weapon banner, you can choose what weapon to pull for. For example, if you wanted to get the pistols, you could focus on that weapon, and when you pull a 5-star, you will get the pistols. This banner uses the same Lustrous Tides as the beginner banner and the character banner, so choose carefully on which one you want to go for. I will give my thoughts later in the video on which banners are best in your scenario. Getting into the limited banners, we will start with the event character banner. This banner takes the Radiant Tides, and is most likely the one you will want to be using your Astrite on. The banner has the same 80 pull pity as the rest, with one caveat. You will only have a 50% chance of getting the featured character. Once you lose to 50-50, your next 5-star character is guaranteed to be the limited character, and the 50% chance resets. So at most, it will cost 160 Radiant Tides to get the limited character. If you happen not to pull enough, or lose your 50-50 by the time the banner is ended, your pulls will carry over to the next limited character banner. Finally, we are at the last banner, the limited weapon banner, which will have, again, the same 80 pull pity. It also has the same function as the permanent weapon banner, where it will guarantee your 5-star pull is the limited weapon, unlike some game. These weapons usually are the best in slots for their respective 5-star character, and usually are only pulled alongside their character, with some exceptions. Now, what banners would I recommend for you? If you are a new player, the beginner banner is absolutely worth it, as long as you don't use your Astrite. Why? The pulls for it can be naturally accumulated throughout the game, allowing you to spend your Astrite on the limited character banner, which is the second recommendation and banner you should be pulling on 90% of the time for now. If you want to save up for an upcoming limited character, that is also fine. If you are re-rolling accounts, I would actually recommend rolling on the limited banner first in hopes of getting an early 5-star, then focusing on the beginner banner. This way you will have 2 5-stars to start out with instead of 1. Next, if you have the money or are a late game player, both the limited character banner and limited weapon banner are both going to be your best bet. Getting individual characters to be strong allows you to have a stronger overall team. Remember, this advice is only for those who plan to spend or have many limited characters, which won't be for a while. In general, the limited character banner is probably the best, and if you want to be in for the long haul, the limited weapon banner would also be fine depending on the weapon. Eventually, you will get your 5-star characters from losing your 50% chance on the limited banner, but there is no chance to get the 5-star weapons any other way. This could mean pulling the permanent weapon banner in the long run will be better than the permanent character banner, because new and better characters will come out, and having a 5-star weapon to put on them would increase their potency. I would say it's up to you to decide, but please do not spend Astrite on the permanent banners. I get it, you're like 5 pulls away from the 5-star, but just wait and get the pulls naturally from the game. Those 5 pulls could be going towards your next limited 5-star. So, after your pulls, you will get Oscillate Coral from all your 3-star pulls, and Afterglow Coral from your 4 to 5-star pulls. The Oscillate Coral can be redeemed in the shop for more tides. You should always purchase these pulls whenever you have the funds to, and I would recommend not purchasing materials. The Afterglow Coral is used to buy tides as well, but you can also purchase up to 2 copies of 5-stars, including the limited characters. You can only purchase these copies if you already have the character. So, if you really like a character and decide to purchase the wave bands, it will cost the equivalent to 45 pulls or 34 pulls worth of Afterglow Coral, depending if they are a limited character or not. If you don't want to save up, buying the tides is also a perfectly fine option. Either way you decide to spend your Afterglow Coral will be fine, so in the end, it's up to you. Personally, I would save it for a character I really like and get a copy or 2 if it's worth it. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this Wuthering Waves guide helpful. If you enjoyed the video, and if you would like to see more content like this, liking and subscribing would help me out a lot. If you have any questions or tips of your own, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next video.